Hey guys, my name is Ali and I'm a data analytics manager working in Oslo, Norway. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the projects and portfolios that you guys have sent in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to be someone who is not necessarily as technical, and I'm going to try and evaluate and give some feedback on these projects. Now, what will I be looking for? The first thing that I want to look at is what is the first impression? What is the first thing that I see? And I will give some thoughts on that. And then I will go into some of the projects and I will look at how is it to navigate the project, how easy it is to understand what was the purpose of the project, and can I follow the project from beginning to the end and understand the different steps that you have done as you go through, because that is also very important. You have to keep in mind that some of these users or some of the people that will be looking at this might not be as technical, they might not have the software that you have used installed, and they just might be someone who needs to be guided through the project to understand it. So that's also something that we really want to make sure that we have covered, to ensure that it doesn't matter if it is the most technical guy looking at it or if it's someone from HR who's never really been exposed to these solutions. We want to make sure that you create projects, you create portfolios that will showcase your skill set to more or less anyone that wants to understand where you are data analysis skills wise. So what I've done is I have opened each project in its own tab on my laptop, and we will just go through the different ones. And I've just opened the link that the person sent me and not done anything else. So this guy, his name is Luis, and I can see that he sent me the link to a project. Now I'm just going to go to the homepage because I want to see what it looks like if you go to the homepage. So you can see we have a about, we have a picture, and a introduction. It's quite a long introduction, so I'm not going to read the entire one, but it might be a little bit much. You might want to make it a little bit shorter, just more short and concise and to the point, because the purpose of the page is to showcase your skill set. It's always nice to have a little bit about you, but not too much. But otherwise, it's great with an introduction, so that is good. And then if we scroll down, I can see he has some different parts here, and then a link to his first project, which I think is great because it takes you right where we want to go. So if we can click that. So his project is about a world happiness report, and you can see here some different details. Once again, I think it might be a little bit too much, just like as an introduction. I think maybe this part would have been enough, but okay, fair enough. You can read more about how data was collected. Okay, that's good. And then let's see. So he explains a little bit about what he has done, which is good. Okay, so it is an introduction to the project, but it might be a little bit long, but maybe I'm just being a little bit too harsh here. But okay, let's see. So he starts up with some data cleansing. I think that's great because it makes sense. That's one of the first things you do. So you want to start that off first. He shows the code. He talks a little bit about what he is going to do. So already he's trying to take me on a journey to understand what the project is about, which is really good because then I understand, okay, what are the different parts. I can see his different SQL statements, which is good. Just trying to read a little bit. I'm not going to go too much into this else, I'll be. I can already see that there's a little bit difference in the SQL statements based on the years, and they should be quite similar. He has an order by on the 2018, not on the 2017. Which is, if I was someone technical, I might, pick up on that, but it doesn't really matter. Same on 2019, okay. Then he has shown what it looks like. So he's using Tableau. He shows the data model. What does it look like in the end? Some of these pictures, if you want to see the details, it would have been nice if you can click the picture and you can see it in larger scale. I think that would be nice because here I would have to get really close to kind of try and understand what the different columns looks like after. For someone who's not technical, they wouldn't care, but if someone who wants to see the details and understand what it looks like afterwards, they might be interested. because you can see he's done it here. When I click the dashboard pictures, I can get large pictures. It would have been nice to do that there also. And then he's explained a little bit about the different parts and the scores, which I think is great. Once again, I can follow the project as we go. And then he has some more details. He's pointed out some in Norway. He's pointed out some different countries and their scores. A lot of different good visualizations. Once again, you know, you can see some of these I can click, some of them I can't. If I want to look at the visualizations myself and the details, make those clickable. Same with the scatter plots. Becomes very small and hard to see what they're covering. But you can see he's done a really good job at explaining as we go, so I think that's really good. I think the visualization looks good. It just might be a little bit too much text. Keep in mind that some of the people who are looking at this, especially if it is people who are screening, you know, they want it short, concise, to the point. But that doesn't mean that this is bad, not at all. It's still, you know, you can definitely see the quality and the time that's been spent here. You know, it has a conclusion. I think it's a great job of taking someone through a project from the beginning to the end. So I think that's really good. And then he has a resume. It looks like it's a one pager, which is good. And then you can download it. You might want to add a link to your LinkedIn. That might be interesting to get in. Otherwise, I think this is a great. I think it's a great job and great start, really. Oh, there it is under the about. It's just a little bit hard to see there. He has a link to his Tableau where you can see the project. So maybe I just didn't pick up on it, but there's his LinkedIn. Let's go back to the project. Okay, and he actually has more projects under the projects tab. One ongoing and one. Okay, so these are just ongoing ones. Fair enough. So this is probably the one that he's finished then. But I think this still looks good. It would have been nice to at the end maybe have a link to the actual project so that you can open the dashboard and go in and have a look. Seeing as it seems like it is available on your Tableau public profile. But otherwise, I think this looks good. Yeah, you can open it here. And then you have the actual dashboard. See, it would have been nice to have a link to this, but otherwise, good job. Let's jump on to the next one. So this is a guy named Lancelot, a tech-savvy engineer. So this I like because it's quite, you know, it's quite concise, to the point. You can already get a good kind of introduction of the person. It's not too much to get through, which is always nice when you're looking at this. So he has a resume. It's also quite straight to the point. The web page looks nice, easy to navigate. Professional experiences, he has a little bit about. Once again, you know, it's you know, nice logos, easy to read, not too much information, easy to get through. Let's take a look at his portfolio. So here he has some different stuff that he's done. So let's just open one of these. So here you can see he takes us into a dashboard, which looks good, by the way. And there's a little bit here who is made by, which data, which is great. I think this looks good. Nice colors. But once again, I have no idea how you created this, and often when I'm looking for someone and I want to understand their skill sets, I do want to understand how did you kind of get there, because that's where the real questions are. Just showing something that looks nice is great. I'm not trying to discredit at all, but it would be nice to understand how did you get there. You know, what were the different steps you have to do? How did you have to apply yourself to create this? With that being said, the dashboards look good. Of course, there are things you can look at and pinpoint, but otherwise it looks good. So here you can see he takes you to a GitHub where some SQL statements. So for me to open a SQL document, I would have to have some sort of SQL software installed. Probably some technical guy would probably have that. If someone else wants to see it, they might not have that. But do think about that. It depends where you are in the process of recruiting and kind of landing a job. I think the web page looks great. You have the links; they're easy here to see. Very concise, to the point. I would love to see a little bit more about how did you create the dashboards, what were the different steps, and just to understand how you applied yourself. But you might get the opportunity to present that. Otherwise, I think it looks really good. It's a nice page, very concise, great colors, to the point. Even though this isn't a review of web pages, it still makes a certain impression. Let's go to this one. So this seems like I like that he has his name as a URL. That's always good. So some different projects, and this is also quite good. At the homepage, you get straight access to the project, which is often what someone is looking for. And then a little bit about himself, some stuff that is coming up. Then we have some different types of projects. It looks like this guy is more on the data science side, more advanced stuff, to be honest. But let's just go through the different sections. Let's see if I can get this going. Why is it okay? So on the about, we have programming languages and aptitudes. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of things listed here, and when I see this many different things listed, it makes me think, okay, but where are you in terms of these different things? So you might want to tone it down a little bit just to kind of give it more of a focus, but it's clear that he's been exposed to a lot of different things. Same with the technical skills. There's so many different things going on here. I guess a lot of these are just advanced analytics concepts, but still, it would be nice to have some sort of ranking or something that gives an idea of what are you better or worse at, just to understand. A little bit about previous experience, education looks good, and then once again the projects are there, articles. I mean, it looks good so far. So here we have different types of projects with some information in the beginning. Gives a nice introduction so that we understand what is the project about. Let's open one of these. Okay, so this is a notebook. So I can see this is in French. I don't speak French, but still, it looks quite good. And you can see he has some steps where he's explaining what he's doing as he goes. This is quite technical though for someone who's never seen this, but it definitely showcases your skill set. You might want to have a little bit more information as you go that might be a little bit more business friendly, a little bit more what is it that you're trying to do, what is the purpose of this. And I can see that. Okay, so we're going step by step. He's doing some different stuff, some grouping, probably some cleansing, then you visualize it. It looks really good. It is quite long though. It is quite extensive, which means that when you have something as extensive as this, you definitely need to add some information as you go so that you understand what are the different steps going on here. Now I can see that this is in French, so I'm not going to try and go through all this, but I can definitely see that you know what you're doing in terms of using Python to do a lot of different things there. So it does look good in that sense. Let's take a look at one of the other ones. Pastries classifier, Moroccan stock market dashboard. Importing some, so you see you have, is the stock market efficient? You have a short line about it. Once again, it would be nice to have some sentences as we go to be able to understand what it is that you're doing in all these different steps. with different packages and you know what is happening as you're going. Otherwise, it looks good. It looks like you're more on the data science side, to be honest, because that's at least the impression that I get. Articles, which is cool. It's cool that you're putting yourself out there. That's really cool. And then he has a thanks. I guess it's quite a few different data science and programming YouTubers, which is really nice of you. And then a contact section, which is always good to have. Also, overall looks good. I would probably add a little bit more information between the different steps, just in case it's hard to follow, but otherwise looks, I think it looks good. You guys are definitely putting a lot of effort into these. Let's do this one. It's also a nice web page. Data analyst, well versed in SQL, Python, Tableau, Power BI project. So this, you know, once again, it's straight into the project, which means that I don't need to look around. I get there right away, which is great. And we have some different projects, some correlation stuff with Python. And then you have your contact info, which is good. You might want to have a section where you talk a little bit about yourself, you know, who you are, just a short introduction, just to get a feel for the person. But let's go into one of these projects. Let's do this one. Okay, so this is just a dashboard. Oh, these are different dashboards. Okay, you made quite a few different ones, which is it's good to showcase your skills. We can open one of these. So you can see it says console game analysis. So I guess this one is more or less self-explanatory, but it's still nice to get a couple sentences about why did you do this, what was your purpose, what was your goal, because it's always important that you need to have a goal and a purpose for your data analysis, or else you're just putting numbers into visualizations, and that's pretty much it. Why are you choosing this data, and what is it that you're trying to find out? It's always nice to see. What about this one? Okay. So you can see here, it goes straight into select statements, straight into technical details. Once again, there's no real explanation for what was your purpose, what was your goal with this, which you should think about, because you have to remember that someone who's never seen this before, never been exposed to this, they want to know why you're doing this. Hotel booking. Let's look at these ones. So this is a Python. Okay, so I would have to download and open this. And this is what I mean. If you want to look at this and you don't have the necessary software, okay, here we go. There we are. Okay, so that's nice that I can get it here. So different packages. And it's doing different things, dropping. So you can see you have some sentences as we go, which is great. It gives a little bit of that understanding for what you're doing as we're going. Oh, that's quite extensive. Okay, so these tables are this huge. You might want to limit how much you show. And then at the end, it looks like you have some sort of explanation. So it looks good. You have a nice variety of different projects, but you definitely want to add a little bit more of business context and try and create a bit more of story around this, but otherwise I think it looks good. And maybe, like I said, maybe a little bit about yourself. So I also got this one. I guess he's made some different projects. He has some VBA projects, some Python projects. We can just open one of these and take a look, just for the sake. So he has it in a Word document. Maybe he's just pasted the code. Okay, so this would be very hard to understand because it's not formatted. It's just a lot of different code put together. So this is something that I wouldn't really know what to do with definitely if I didn't know anything about Python, this would just be a lot of text. Let's go back to the other ones. I know that he has some Power BI projects. And once again, there's some Power BI files there, which means that you would have to have installed Power BI desktop locally to be able to look at this. Now, of course, I have that, so we can open one of these and take a look at it. Do keep in mind that not everyone who wants to look at this has that software installed, and it's once again, if you're looking at 30, 40, 50 applications, and maybe you've trimmed down to 10 potential ones, and you want to look more closely at those, you want to make it as easy as possible to let them get to your projects and your portfolios, so that they can easily get an idea of your skill set. So make that bar as low as possible. Create a story, use pictures, upload the dashboard online so that it is easy to get to. But let's go through this. We can still take a look at it. So it looks like we have sales in the US for different products, and you can see my impressions right away. What am I looking at? What is this? I have to in my mind try and think about what you were trying to create. And it's a sales and profit dashboard, so it's fairly self-explanatory. But if we just take a look at the dashboard itself, it doesn't really make sense to have the navigation like that on the right side. The KPIs are in the middle, should probably be on top. There's a lot of different visualizations that are showing the same things. So less is usually more when you create dashboards. You can see here you have some places where it's hard to read the text because of the colors. Maybe simplify a little bit and tone it down a little bit. Sales of products, so you can see here. So I like this that he's used colors some places. Then the KPIs are, now you can see he's changed where the navigation is. So my impression is that he's done so many different things to showcase that he can do a lot of different things, which is great, but it doesn't, as a whole, as a total, it becomes a little bit overwhelming, because we have a map, we have a combo chart with different colors, we have a bar chart, we have a waterfall chart, we have a funnel chart, tables, KPIs. It's so much coming at me, and since I have no context, I have no explanation, it's hard for me to understand what is the purpose of this, except for showing sales in a lot of different ways. It's good that he has some titles here on the bottom. So it's clear that he definitely knows how to do a lot of different things in Power BI. But knowing how to do a lot of different stuff doesn't necessarily equate to knowing how to create something that creates business value. It's like knowing how to do a lot of different soccer tricks. You know how to do a lot of juggling and tricks, and you know how to do a lot of fancy stuff, and you can dribble and you can do all these amazing things, but what is the point if you don't know when to apply it? Or what is the point if you're just doing a lot of tricks but you're never really scoring any goals? So it becomes a little bit overwhelming and just a lot of stuff going on. But he definitely knows. I can see that he has some, he's used a bridge table. He has different types of tables with an F and D for dimensions, F for facts. So he definitely knows how to use Power BI. But it is just a little bit overwhelming and just a lot of stuff going on, which I don't understand the purpose of it. So I would probably try and get some of these projects online so that they're easier to access. I would probably tone down a little bit the usage and try and shape it so that it's easier to navigate. And also, once again, explain a little bit what was the purpose, what did you find out, and how did you create this to see your progress through the different steps. Last one. So here you can see, nice little introduction, very straight to the point web page, So this part, welcome with two of these things. I can never remember what these things are called when I make these videos. I feel like my brain blanks out. But nice introduction, nice and short to the point. But no point in having these these two end marks at the end there. Just keep, welcome, nice and professional. Portfolio. So he's actually made the ones that I made online. Farm sales, exercise analysis, sales management dashboard. So this, I would probably change the text here so that it's easier to read, because it's a little bit hard to read unless you take your mouse over. Let's do this one since I already know these two very well. But let's look at this project. So you can see, once again, make the pictures so that you can click them because it's easier to see. I like that you've linked to the dataset, that's great. But do write a little bit about what is the purpose, what it is that you're trying to analyze, and why you're doing this. Trying to give it some context. Customer details, region tables. So he shows the tables, that's good. The logic is used for the date table, the DAX for that, and pictures of that. So there is a story, we have the model. We're getting taken through some of the different steps. Then we have the different calculations, which showcase a little bit of that. Then we have the dashboards. Would be nice to be able to open it, click it to see it, maybe even go in and interact with it. But still, it looks good. It's not too much going on at the same time. It's not too overwhelming. I think this looks good. Then he has the dashboard. So you have the file, which means you need to have Power BI installed. But it would be nice to just upload it to the web, and you have the link on GitHub for those who wants that. Overall, I think that looks good. Now you can see, so this is the project that I upload on YouTube. The reason I do the business requests and user stories is to give the entire thing a business context. That is the whole purpose, because this should be able to tell someone who reads this, why were you doing this? Why did you create this project? Why are you doing this data analysis? What is the purpose? What is the benefit? You're putting it into a business context, which is always the first step, which is why you should always have some sort of explanation or some sort of introduction and some sort of red thread throughout the story, so that you understand how are you answering the business side of things. And that is why you use business requests. That is why you use user stories, and then you get into the technical stuff. Then you can explain all this. You can make the dashboards. I really like this part though. This is great. This is a great way of solving it. This is better than how I did it. If you can't upload the project online, of course, then you can click around, but this looks good otherwise. But okay, that was the last one. Those are some of my thoughts and feedback on these projects. I do want to say thank you guys so much for letting me do this, and I want to say, I really applaud the effort and the thought and just the skill sets that you guys have put into creating these projects and portfolios, because you guys are way beyond where I was when I started out with this, and I think that's really fun to see. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on data and analytics, then subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.